Hey guys, welcome to Stacking the Shelves for the weekend of February 8th. This is actually my book haul for the last 3 weeks. I don't know, time kind of got away from me and I wasn't getting a lot of books. So I'm going to go ahead and go through what I got. There's a variety here of review books, audiobooks, books I bought, and then some from the library. So here are the books that I got. The first one I got is for review, and that is Looking Glass, the Chronicles of Alice novella by Christina Henry. I'm a huge Christina Henry fan, and I know she's not the most popular author, but I really like her take on kind of like horror, fantasy, classic retellings. So I have loved her Chronicles of Alice series, and this book is going to come out in April, and it is a collection of novellas set in that world. So I'm very excited to read that and see that there's another book coming out in that series. And I got that through NetGalley to review. The other one I got through NetGalley to review is called Seven Endless Forests. I think it's The Seven Endless Forests, but on here it just says Seven Endless Forests. And this is by April Genevieve Chulk. I always say her last name wrong. She has been another one of my authors that is just always a real hit for me. Like, I never read anything from her I don't like. And this is another fantasy, like young adult novel from her. So I'm really excited to read this. I loved her last fantasy novel, and I really liked the ones she did previous. There's like a young adult paranormal duology she did before that. And very excited to read this. This actually comes out the end of March. I think March 31st is the release date. And I got this through NetGalley to review. So very excited to read that. All right, then I get 2 for audiobook. I got a $5 Audible coupon. I think it was from using 3 credits in the month of January or something like that, which, again, if you're an Audible member, just watch for that stuff because, like, I know what audiobooks I want to read. So sometimes if they're doing a deal like that, I'll just use 3 of my credits at once, and then I'll get the $5 account creditor, right? So one I had been waiting to get, but I didn't really want to use a credit for because it's a shorter book and it's a cheaper book, is A Murder of Manatees. And this is the second like novella in the Tom Stranger Interdimensional Insurance Agent series. The first book in this was absolutely hilarious. I really, really loved it. But I didn't, as I said, I didn't want to spend a credit to buy the second one because it's pretty short. So I went ahead and used my $5 credit to get this. It didn't pay for the whole thing, but it was pretty close. So yeah, very excited to listen to this just because it cracks me up. It is so funny. The second audiobook I got is Sights by Neil Shusterman. This is one I've been wanting to read for quite a while. Then my son kind of reminded me of it because I guess he borrowed the book from his school library and read the first half of it. And he was asking me if there's any possibility I could get it in audiobook because he loves listening to audiobooks on the way to school. And he was not able to finish the book before he had to take it back to his school library. So, yes, I have Scythe finally, and I will be reading it. And I know I'm like super behind the times on this one, but I'm excited to listen to it. Okay, the next 3 books I got at my son's school's book fair. And this is always dangerous for me because I always go volunteer in the book fair because it's something I really like to do. I've actually been volunteering at the library at my son's school all year for a couple hours every other Friday. It's not a ton of time, but it's kind of what I can do with my work schedule. And I just really enjoy interacting with the kids and the books. And it's a way to like do something for the school in an environment that's kind of quiet and non-chaotic. So anyways, I always have to peruse the books. And I ended up picking up 3 books at my son's book fair. They're always like pretty cheap, and a percent of the sales goes to the media center, so I like to do that. The first one I got is Devils Unto Dust by Emma Berquist, and this one is kind of a post-apocalyptic young adult zombie-ish book. It just sounded really good, and it reminded me of like some other books that I've read like that I really enjoyed. Now, I did kind of take a break from like zombie reads for a long time because I was like in a zombie reading phase like maybe 4 or 5 years ago. But this one just really kind of the cover drew my eye, and the synopsis just sounded really cool. So I think that I will enjoy this. And it was on special for $4. The other one I picked up that was just kind of random was another Jennifer E. Smith book. And I reviewed a book by her a number of years ago called The statistical probability of love at first sight, and I really enjoyed it. It was just kind of a fun, cute, young adult contemporary romance thing with like a little sciencey bent to it. So I saw this there, and this was another like special deal thing at the book fair. It's called Windfall by Jennifer E. Smith, and it's about a couple where the guy has been buying this girl a lottery ticket, or no, she buys him a lottery ticket every year for his birthday, just kind of as a joke. And then one of the tickets wins. And so kind of what happens is $140 million winning. And, they just have to figure out how that's going to affect their relationships. This is just going to be another cute little contemporary romance. And I'm not saying it's good or anything, but every once in a while, it's just fun to have one of these sitting around if I'm feeling a little down or I want something quick and easy to read. So don't judge. All right, the other one I got that one of the other ladies there actually pointed out to me, and I was like, I meant to read that, and I never did. And that is Stepsister by Jennifer Donnelly. And this is a Cinderella retelling, but, well, kind of. It's like Cinderella's stepsister and what happened with her. So it's maybe like a Cinderella offshoot. I'm really excited to read this. I love these kind of books, and I've heard that this one is a really good one, and it looks like another just cute, fun, short, young adult read. And I'm going to be honest, like the older I get and the more hectic things are right now, work's been really, really busy. My son is super busy, and things are just busy. I'm trying to maintain my blog and do all my reviewing for Amazon and all of that. I tend to kind of go towards just easier young adult or middle grade books to read because I can sit down, I can read them quickly, and they're a nice escape. And these more complicated epic fantasies that I really, really loved in my teens and 20s, I just can't stay focused long enough and committed long enough to read them right now. And I know as I get older and my son moves out and things calm down a little bit, I'll probably gravitate towards those again. But for now, these cute little easy young adult reads they just fit the bill for me, and they're just so much fun. All right. So 2 more. And these are from the library. The first one is another manga series. So since I did wrap up Full Metal Alchemist and all the other manga series I'm reading, I'm caught up on. I was kind of looking for another one to start. And the one, I got this from my library. This is The Promised Neverland by Kao Shirai and Posuka Dimizu. And I said those wrong, I'm sure. This one just looks really cute, and it's gotten really excellent reviews. So I'm going to read it. And if it's good, I will give it to my son and see if he likes it. And then maybe this is another one we can start working on. And the last one I have to talk through and that I got from the library is A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Bridget Kimmerer. And I'm actually kind of blanking on what this one is about right now. I know A Curse So Dark and Lovely was the first one, and I really enjoyed it. And I think this is another type of fairy tale retelling thing. But I'm going to have to go back and actually read my own review for A Curse So Dark and Lonely so I can kind of refresh myself on what that first book was about. And then hopefully I will like this one just as much as that first one. So these are the books I got. And so there are 2 from the library, 3 that I bought. So that's 5. Oh, I can't pick them up. 3 that I bought. It's 5, and then 2 audiobooks, 6, 7, and then 2 review, 8, 9. I can count. I don't know what I'm reading right now. Right now I'm listening to Dread Nation on audiobook by, I think I'm blanking on the lady who wrote that. Anyways, that's been really good. That's one I have kind of had on and off my wish list, but I ended up getting it as an audiobook, and it is really good. I'm really liking it. It's kind of like an alternate history set in the U.S. and during the Civil War, I believe it was Civil War, the dead started rising, and so now all of American society is set up to deal with, zombies, basically. But I've been surprised at how much I've liked it. It is so good. And it's one of those audiobooks, maybe I should take the longer way home so I can listen to more. So I've been really loving that. The other one I'm reading right now that I'm actually thinking about DNFing, which I know everybody's going to be like, no, don't do that for this book. Starsight by Brandon Sanderson. I read Skyward, and it's a well-written Brandon Sanderson book, but it's all about like all this sci-fi, like fighter jet stuff, like space flying stuff, which I'm never into that. I'm not into like sea battles or air battles or just stuff that really focuses on that. So I decided to pick up Starsight just because I like Brandon Sanderson a lot. I'm a huge fan of him. And I've been reading it for 2 days and I may be 40 pages in, which is awful for me. I just don't want to read it. Like the first 2 chapters have been all a giant like space fighter ship battle. And I don't really care that much. So that might be one I'm setting aside. I'm trying to decide. It's a long book and I'm struggling. So it might be one I just need to set aside and then like pick up when I'm less distracted or something. I don't know. I got it from the library, so I got to decide pretty soon what I'm going to do with it. Other than that, things have been busy, not because, well, they've been busy. We've had, in January, I didn't really do any posts. We had 2 out-of-town tournaments. One of those tournaments I actually missed because I got stuck in Kansas City on an airplane forever, and I think I talked about that in a different video. And then the other thing that's been very, very time-consuming for me this month is we decided that we're going to take a trip in January to Rome. And so we're going to be in Rome for a few days, and then we're going to take a cruise out of Rome and go to Turkey, some Greek islands, and then Naples. And so that is going to be like a big 2-week deal. And even though we're doing the cruise, which alleviates some of the planning, and it lets us see more places, which is really good. The fact that we're going to have 3 or 4 days in Rome up front means like we had to get lodging in Rome. We had to figure out what tours we're planning. The airfare is a big deal. It's not easy to get into Rome. You're going to have a layover no matter where you go, and you have to make sure, like we're trying to get layovers in the U.S. rather than overseas. And the first time we had the cruise ship book our airfare, and they had us having like a 45-minute layover in the Paris airport, and there's like no way we were going to get through customs and to the next airplane in that short amount of time. So yeah, I don't know. I just decided to cancel all our airfare for them and book everything myself. And now the issue we're having is our plane leaves a little bit earlier than the cruise ship thinks we can get to the airport. But we're going to give it a shot and see how things work. Yeah, I'm excited about that. I think my family gets more excited about this because they don't get as involved in all the planning. The big issue is it's going to be super expensive. So yeah, that is our travel budget for the year. The only other thing, and this kind of came up at the same time. So I was doing a lot of my January, like planning travel in my free time. My grandpa is turning 90 this year down in Florida. And so we were trying to plan a trip over my son's, we have MEA break in Minnesota. So we were trying to plan a trip over MEA break to go down to Florida to see him for his 90th birthday. And then we decided, since my son actually he's been to Disney World a million times, but he can't remember it very well because they were all when he was younger. So we were going to tack on a Disney World trip with that since he's already out of school. And that ended up being an ordeal to plan because flight prices like varied very drastically depending on when you left. Like we're talking by thousands and thousands of dollars. So that was a lot of planning and then trying to figure out where to stay at Disney World because it's always really expensive. And so there's a lot going on there. I don't know. And that's been most of it. And then again, in February, I'm going to be traveling probably 2 or 3 weeks for work. This is pretty unusual for me for work. So all of this has started yet more discussion of what we're going to do when we're going to retire. Just because we think about it a lot. My husband and I really want to, once my son is out of high school and doesn't need to be, not that he needs to be now, but we're more comfortable. I think he's more comfortable being in a stationary situation where we're in a neighborhood with friends and he goes to a school with everybody he knows. We do want to kind of switch to a more nomadic lifestyle once he's out of high school, which will be in 5 years, which my husband can work remotely from anywhere, but that would entail me leaving my job. And so we've been trying to figure out how we can financially get all that accomplished and have enough for retirement savings. And it's kind of painful because we're really, really close to being set on everything, but we're not quite there. So we got to figure out how we're going to get there. Anyways. So that was going on in January, and as a result of that, we decided to refi the house and restructure some of our loans and stuff like that. Anyways, long story short, January has been very busy, and not just because I've had a lot going on with work and a lot of travel with hockey. There's been a lot of travel planning and a lot of financial stuff we're working through. So, yeah. Anyways, if you guys are curious about any of the other stuff, I can do a longer video about it at a later date. But right now, my boys are at hockey practice, so I am going to go take a shower because I'm super sweaty from running. And I just wanted to get this video done because I haven't done one in 3 weeks, and I can get it uploading now so that it can post. Anyways, I guess that's it. I hope you guys have had a great week of reading, or 3 weeks of reading. And hopefully I will talk to you at the end of next week. I'm not sure if I'll have any books or not, but if I don't, maybe I'll just do a quick post anyways. All right. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great week of reading. Bye.